Hi, the purpose of this video is to talk about MLA formatting, but just the basics. We'll talk about other things later on. Why talk about MLA formatting? Two reasons. The first one is that from here on out, all your paragraphs, your reading journals, and any essays will be submitted in document form rather than in a text box. The second reason is that most majors have their own style of formatting. And when you can master that formatting, it shows to your professors and any classmates that you are knowledgeable in that discipline, that you're part of that writing community. So, what are the basics? I created a list for you. The first one is 1-inch margins. Now, for most of you, that won't matter because your Word, Pages, and Google Docs will all have 1-inch margins by default. If you have an older version of Word or Pages, those margins might be different and you may have to create custom margins, and they're 1-inch, 1-inch on the top, 1-inch on the bottom, 1-inch on the left, and 1-inch on the right. The second thing is Times New Roman 12-point font. You'll have to adjust that. Next, make sure you double space. You will insert a page number with the last name in the header. You will add a heading on the upper left. This does not go in the header. You'll add an original and meaningful title, and every paragraph starts by being indented. But don't double space after each paragraph. Okay, what does that look like in Google Docs? Here is a blank Google Doc, and I wanted to show you how you can do MLA formatting on this. It's very similar in Word, and I'll talk about that as I go on. I don't use Pages, and so I can't help you there. At any rate, here we go. The first thing that I want to do, since I know that my margins are already 1-inch, is change my font to Times New Roman 12-point. Now, mine is at the top because I've used Times New Roman recently. Yours may be down lower. There are a lot of fonts and they're all arranged in alphabetical order. Next, I want to change this to 12-point font. The next thing that I'm going to do is change the spacing. So I'm going to click on this. This looks very similar in Word. And I have an option for double spacing. By the way, when you do this in Word, you have to actually remove the space after the paragraph. It's in the same section. I don't know why that's by default in Word, but it is. At any rate, you have to add it in Google, and you don't want to do that. So, double space. Next, I want to insert my page number. So I'll go to Insert, and I'll scroll down to Page Number. And here are my options. I want to choose the upper right-hand corner with the page numbers starting on the first page. And so I click on that and automatically I have that. Now I want to put I just want to put my cursor to the left of that, and I'll type in my last name. At that point, I want to go below the header and just click. Now I'm out of the header. The next thing that I'm going to do is type my 4-line heading. I type my first and last name, and then I type my professor's name. I am the professor, so this looks a little weird. The next thing I type is the class. Now, if you're in an online class, putting the section number is probably less important. But if you're in a class that you're turning in a paper copy, you definitely want to include that. So I'm going to include one of my section numbers right here. Finally, I'll put the date. And today is the 12th of September, 2020. And you'll notice that that's a little funky. because in the US, we don't normally have the day before the month, but with the MLA and in most other countries, that's how it's entered. The next thing I want to do is have a meaningful and original title, and I want to center my title. So I click on that, and well, I made up a title, MLA The Basics, and you. Okay, I hit enter and it spaces down, but I want to make sure that I put left alignment. And so I go up there and I do that and I hit tab on the keyboard. At this point in my writing, I can just keep writing and say fascinating things for all of my readers, and that includes you. Okay, so one very short paragraph. I hit enter, I hit tab. This is the second paragraph, and that's how you do it. Now, I understand there are a lot more things with MLA formatting, such as in-text documentation and a works cited page, but for now, we're going to call it a day. In this week's reading journal, you will be using MLA formatting, and I just wanted to share with you how to do that. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.